Oh, good morning, good afternoon, and happy day before Easter in some countries, though we found out in Greece, it's
Hello.
not until April 2nd or so. And this is the Global Matrix Readers Theater, and we're here today to read The Tale of Peter Rabbit. So they've already chosen parts. I'm going to share screen, and why am I having such a problem being able to see things here? There it is. Okay. And here we go. There we are. Let me move this out of the way. Is everybody able to see it well?
Yes.
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 Awesome. So The Tale of Peter Rabbit was written and illustrated by Beatrice Potter. We're going to start with child number 2.
Once upon a time, where there were 4 little rabbits. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter.
They lived with the mother in a sandbag underneath the roof of a very big tree.
My dears, you may go into the fields or down the road, but don't go into Mr. McGeorge's garden. Your father had an accident there and he was put into a pie made by Mrs. York. Now run along and don't get into trouble. I'm going out.
Then old Mr. Rabbit took the basket and her umbrella to the baker's store.
Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries.
Peter, however, went straight to Mr. McGregor's garden.
I'll go straight under the gate. Look at all the food.
First he ate some lettuce and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes.
Oh, I feel sick. I'll go to look for some parsley.
But around the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor?
I'm about to finish painting out their young candle. But what is that? Hey, you come there, stop her.
Peter was most dreadfully frightened.
He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate.
Oh no, I lost one of my shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe among the potatoes.
After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster.
But he unfortunately ran into gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket.
It was a blue jacket with brace button, quite new.
Oh no, he will be sure to catch me now. I give myself up.
Peter cried big tears.
His sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him and in great excitement. They begged him to try harder.
Mr. McGregor came up with a pot, which he intended to pop up on the top of Peter.
But Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. He rushed into the tools and jumped into a can.
It would have been a beautiful place to hide, but it had not had so much water in it.
I'm quite sure that you're hiding somewhere in the tub. I will turn over a flower pot only, yes, I found.
Then Peter sneezed.
Dirty shoe.
Mr. McGregor was after him in no time and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants.
The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work.
Oof, I'll sit down to rest.
He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had no idea which way to go.
Also, he was very damp from sitting in the water can.
After he rested for a time, he began to wander about.
How lucky I am. Here is a door in a wall. Oh no, the door is locked, and there is no room for a fat little rabbit like me to squeeze underneath.
An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the woods.
Hey, little mouse, can you take me to the gate?
But she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him.
Peter began to cry.
Oh, now what shall I do?
Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans.
A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twisted as if it were alive.
Peter thought it best to go away with speaking to her.
I better not ask the cat for I better not ask the cat, for he may chase after me. I will go back towards the tool shed.
But suddenly he heard the noise of a hoe. Screech, scratch, scratch, screech. Peter jumped underneath the bushes.
Peter?
I said it, but
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's Mr. McGregor hoeing onions.
Mr. McGregor's back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate.
There is the gate. I have to get down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and start running as fast as I can.
Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter didn't care.
He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden.
He escaped. What a lucky man. Now we walk up the little jacket and the thought of a scarecrow to frighten the black.
Peter never stopped running or looked behind him until he got home to the big fir tree.
I am so tired. I will rest on this nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and sleep for a while.
His mother was busy cooking.
I wonder what has happened to Peter's clothes. This is the second jacket and pair of shoes that he has lost.
Peter wasn't very well during the evening.
I'll take you to bed. Drink this camel tea, you will feel better. They say that 1 tablespoonful has to be taken bedtime.
So Peter went to sleep while Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had a delicious dinner of bread and milk and blackberries.